Teams across the land get their season started tonight, and that includes Penny Hardaway's Memphis Tigers. Memphis faces Missouri, a team they beat last year 70-55. Tigers took 2 losses to North Carolina and Alabama in exhibition games, and Penny Hardaway said they learned plenty about themselves in those games, but just because they played a couple of juggernauts early doesn't mean he's not taking a Missouri team picked to finish 13th in the SEC any kind of lightly.
It's going to be a hard game. You know, we're not overlooking anybody. Every game is hard on this level. That's what I've realized, whether at home, whether pressure's on you, or on the road, you know, when you got to get a road win in someone else's building. So I stay mindful of that. But, you know, those 2 games definitely helped us understand who we were. But we can't go and look at Missouri and go, oh, they're not Alabama, they're not North Carolina. That's not our mindset. Every game is going to be hard, but we can dictate who we are every single night.
All right, so we hear from Penny Hardaway. I'm certainly sure that he's ready to get the season started after those exhibition games. Rachel, what are you excited about with this Memphis Tigers team going into the season?
I mean, I'm just so excited that basketball's back. Like,
right?
It's here.
Yeah,
it feels like for anyone who loves basketball, it's like Christmas Day. Came a little early.
Crossover season, as you like to call it.
Crossover season. That I'm dreading a little bit, because crossover season means we're doing a lot every day.
Right.
But basketball's back. I'm happy today. We'll enjoy it while we can. I'm excited for this year. I mean, to hear Penny talk about this team the way he does, he's saying they're very similar to that 2022-23 team that went to the NCAA tournament, obviously lost first round to FAU, but he thinks they're pretty similar to that team. And that's exciting to hear as someone coming in to be like, okay, this is a team that he thinks can go to the NCAA tournament. Obviously, you kind of want to hear that from him every year, and we have heard that from him in recent years, and it hasn't happened. So it's, can they do that this year? But I'm excited for it. I think tonight, a big thing I want to see improved upon from the last 2 games in those exhibition games is their shooting percentage, especially from the 3-point line. They went 6 for 37 for 16.2% on threes. Only 1 player on the entire team hit multiple threes in those 2 exhibition games. So that's like the key thing that I really want to see improved. And I know it'll come. They're going to get better looks as they kind of move along in the season. But that's my big thing for tonight that I want to see improved upon.
Caleb, what say you, my friend?
Well, this is a confidence builder game, in my opinion. Missouri is an SEC team, but they're picked to finish second to last in the SEC after winning no SEC games last year, going 0 of 19. This team is improved. They did bring in a few transfers, including really the guy to look out for is, besides the transfers, is their Little Rock native freshman who helped them build a top 15 recruiting class out of high school, Anor Boateng. We really don't know what he's going to look like this year, but I think that this is the type of guy you really have to key off of, where you don't really have a lot of film on him. Besides that, they have several guys. They've got Jacob Cruz is someone who averaged 19 points per game at UT Martin last year, shot 58% from the field. I mean, Mark Mitchell, someone who came from Duke, averaging 12 points per game at Duke last year, shooting 54% from the field. That's a guy who I'm pretty worried about. I was telling you earlier today, I don't want to look up and see 25 points from Mark Mitchell tonight. But at the same time, I think that this team is still figuring itself out, just like Memphis is. And so this is a game where really Penny can get his system down. I think it's going to be a similar score to what it was last year, 70-55. Just build that confidence. I think they will shoot better from 3. They have 3 of the best guys.
Right, it's kind of been the surprising thing that they haven't shot better.
They almost
from 3.
have to shoot better from 3.
Yeah.
It would be really, really hard to not shoot as well from 3. I think you're looking at a guy like Colby Rogers, who went, I want to say 2 for 10 in that Alabama game, just 1 for 4 from 3. They brought him in expecting him to kind of be the sniper on this team, and I think this is a game where he can really kind of get himself going, and you really want some of that early confidence. Penny Hardaway talked about getting P.J. Carter, who transferred in from UTSA, getting him going and see what he can do from beyond the arc. So I think they do that, they'll be in a pretty good shape. Obviously, there's a Missouri team that you don't expect to roll over these guys, and Penny Hardaway said as much in that soundbite, but he also just talked about the transfer class that they did have, and it's like, this is not a Mizzou team that was the same team that they had last year. And quite honestly, if you're looking at the Memphis Tigers, they're not the same team from last year either. Literally, 10 new guys on this roster from the year before.
Jordan's the only one back.
Nicholas Jourdain is the only scholarship player back, and so we're going to see a lot of new from teams across the college basketball landscape. I think that's going to be pretty normal. Give me a lot of Nicholas Jourdain at the rim, like you see in that first clip there. I really would like to see Dane Danger. I think he had a much improved game from Exhibition 1 to Exhibition 2, 16 points in that second game. We had a chance to see him on social media this week. I think it was ESPN or somebody put out
College basketball
put out the top 30 centers that they expect to play this year, and his name was not on that list. In fact, somebody from Illinois who he transferred in to the Tigers was on that list, and all Dane Danger's reply to that tweet was, bet. So I would like to see how he handles all that noise and what he can do in this game tonight, especially against Mizzou.
And Missouri don't have anyone that can match up against him. Someone like Cruz, who's out there 6'10", he's not nearly as bulky as Danger is, and I feel like that's the guy who they're going to look to get switched on to Dane, because from what I looked at from the brief YouTube clips that I saw of him, he's a decent wing defender, but in the paint, you can kind of body him. And that's where I feel like Memphis will get the advantage tonight, is on the boards. And you saw that a little bit against North Carolina towards the end of the first half and at the beginning of the second half. I think this team really can thrive on the boards this season with Jordan Danger and Tyreek Smith.
Obviously, it's now all for real. It begins tonight, 7 p.m. against Missouri at FedExForum. My question for you guys as the season approaches us and begins today, what are the Tigers doing? What do you see them doing? Are they winning the AAC regular title, something they haven't done since Penny Hardaway has been the head coach? Are they winning the AAC championship? And then are they going to the NCAA tournament? What are your predictions, yes or no?
Caleb, you want to start? I'll start. I'll say you got to prove it to me. You have to prove it to me. They did win.
I said yes or no.
Yeah. They won the AAC tournament, right, in 2022, 2023, but they didn't win the regular season. They haven't won the regular season. So to me, you really got to prove it. And they have the most talent in the league. We talk about this pretty much every year that they should have the most talent. It's time to go prove it. And so I'll say they win the AAC tournament. I'll say we still don't get a regular season championship, and I said they will obviously make the NCAA tournament because they win the AAC.
Well, since we're playing Missouri tonight, show me. The show me state, Missouri.
Show me state.
Yeah, I think that this team is not as talented as they were last year, but if you look at the roster going through player by player compared to this one is not far off. I think someone like Tyrese Hunter, you combine his big season that I predict him to have with PJ Haggerty's, someone like Dane Danger maybe averaging a double-double, something like that. If that's the case, then I think that they will win the regular season and the AAC tournament. I think it's more likely that they win the regular season title than the AAC tournament, because it's just so much harder to win in that tournament style. They've proven that, in the past. But the AAC is weaker this year. UAB was obviously picked in the preseason coaches poll to win it, but you have a team like Tulane that lost a lot of players, is picked second to last. And then you go through the list. You've got Wichita State in there at 4. Wichita State were statistically one of the worst teams last year. They got, the second to last seed in the tournament when they beat Memphis. I think overall the entire AAC is a lot weaker, where Memphis is to blame for that. They stole a lot of good players. You look at PJ Carter, PJ Haggerty, Colby Rogers, Tyreek Smith, SMU. Right. I keep thinking Tyreek Smith is from North Texas. I got to get that out of my head. They're close. SMU. Memphis and Penny Hardaway weakened the AAC with a lot of their pickups. So this team should, on paper, and I think that they will win the regular season. And why not? They'll win the AAC tournament. All right. It's been too long.
2 for 2 for you, 1 for 2 for you. I'm going to go the same as you. I don't think they win the regular season, but I do think they win the championship and then obviously go to the NCAA tournament. But it all starts tonight.
I just want someone to dunk on Yaxel Lindenberg, please.
Well, that's a long ways out. It's a long season. It starts tonight in the FedEx Forum for the Tigers taking on Mizzou.